Today I'm revealing the 8 productivity secrets that took me from a broke collections caller to now a multi-millionaire by 30. Now remember, hard work does not equal success. Hard work on high leverage activities with a clear mind equals success. So if you follow these tips, I guarantee you will be more successful. Quick warning, tip number 8 will piss some people off, so I'm sorry in advance. All right, let's get started. Tip number 1, move your workouts to the morning. 1, you need to work out every single day. It keeps your body healthy, happy, and it keeps your mind clear. But by moving your workout to the morning, you're able to increase the span of time at which you work during the afternoon. I found that if I go to the gym after work, say I'm at the office from 8 to 5 p.m. and then I go to the gym, it takes me a little while to have my pre-workout, put my gym clothes on, actually go to the gym, get an hour workout in, come home. Now all of a sudden I have to shower and change again, get my post-workout and my protein in. All of that stuff disrupts my workday, and typically I'll have to stop working after the gym, which is going to be around 7. Compare that to moving your workout to the morning, which is what I do now. I wake up around 7 a.m., drink my pre-workout, which is waiting for me next to the bed. Once that's in my body, I don't have a choice but to go to the gym. Drink my pre-workout, put on my clothes. I wear pretty much the same thing every single day. Go over to the gym. The gym is about 5 minutes away from me. So optimizing your routine is very important too. Work out for about an hour. I'm home and I'm at the office by 9 a.m. Now I have nothing to do all day except work from 9 a.m. all the way up until 9 p.m. on some days, undisturbed. This time is sacred, and all you have to do is move your gym workout to the morning. All right, tip number 2 is keep your calendar sacred. I can't tell you how many mistakes I've made filling up my calendar with calls of people who just wanted to connect and make an offer to me, send a proposal. All of these calls are a waste of my time. Even when a friend wants to have lunch now, I will send him a Calendly link. And that Calendly link is for 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. lunch. And I will let them know as soon as that time window is over, I have to get back to work. So my advice to you is to live and to die by your calendar. Don't let people onto it who don't deserve it. Don't let people onto it without you knowing exactly what they want to offer you, what the price is, and if that's something you really need. It's really easy to fill up your calendar with BS calls that all they do is suck your time and decrease the leverage of the activities that you're able to do. Now, if you're at a point in your business where you're still doing most of the sales, this is a different story. Sometimes you have to be on those calls all day, but your goal is to get to a point where you're running your business and you're growing your business and you're able to focus that calendar time on higher leverage activities. Now, in terms of tools here, it's really simple. I use Google Calendar and I use the Apple Calendar app. They sync beautifully, and I use Calendly in order to make all the different appointment links so I can send them out based on whatever somebody wants to do with me. Never more than 15 minutes for a meeting. If it's more than 15 minutes, there needs to be a very good reason. Tip number 3 is define your priorities at the beginning of each day. One mistake that entrepreneurs always make is they'll get to work at 8 a.m., 7 a.m., 6 a.m., and they'll just sit there at their computer. They'll go through their emails. They'll jump between different projects that they feel like doing at that time, and that is not an effective use of your time. So before you actually start work, sit down and think, what is the highest leverage activity, the highest leverage project that you can get done that day? And here's a pro tip. If there's something that you really don't want to do that you've been putting off that you know you have to do, move that to the top of your list. Get that done first. Once it's out of the way, you'll be free to work on all the other projects that you actually want to. Now for this, I use an app called Side Notes, and I put my ideas in there throughout the day, but every day I wake up, I've got it on my phone and my computer and they sync, and I put right at the top the 3 things that I'm going to do with checkboxes. Then I'll go into my calendar and I'll actually block off time for those activities. And by the way, if you don't have openings on your calendar for your highest leverage activities, your highest leverage projects, that means that you need to clean your calendar. Treat it more sacredly, put more meetings off your calendar, say sorry to some people. All right, tip number 4, and this one absolutely changed my life, and that's becoming celibate. I'm kidding, I'm not celibate, but I do have a girlfriend. Now, I lived a lot of my years as a single adult with a lot of money, and that was the most distracting time of my life. As men, we're wired to get distracted by those types of things. So remove those distractions from your life. Find a girlfriend that values your goals, that understands what you're trying to accomplish, and will be supportive of those things. When you do want to stay in all weekend and work, when you want to stay up till 10 p.m. finishing a project, you need to find someone that understands that, and if you can't do that, be celibate. Being single is a quick road to increasing your alcohol intake. More dates means more alcohol. You're also going to be spending a lot more money, and you're going to be disrupting your routine a lot more than anybody who's got a girlfriend or is celibate. going on a date on Friday or Saturday or even Thursday, you're going to end up staying out late. You're going to end up sleeping in the next day, wasting your weekend. You're going to end up scrolling on Tinder or whatever it is that you're doing. You need to really focus on this. Find a good partner and you'll level up your success. And by the way, if you wait and you do stay celibate until you are successful, the partner that you're going to be able to find is going to be a much higher quality partner. And a lot of people will say, oh, she just likes me for my money. It's not true. People value valuable people. And one of the prime things that women look for in men is resources. It's an unfortunate truth. All right, let's go on to tip number 5. Choice fatigue is a real thing. That means you're presented with so many different choices throughout the day. And if you make too many of them, you can become fatigued. So there's a couple places where this is very relevant in your everyday life. The first one is clothing. A lot of people talk about this, wearing the same thing every day. I essentially do as well. The company that I buy from, where I get all of my main pants and shirts, is Built, B-Y-L-T. Really basic, sleek clothing, and I don't have to think about it when I go to the office. I grab a pair of their pants, I grab a t-shirt, and I go. Now, for those of you fashionistas who like to spend a bunch of time trying on outfits in the morning and gotta look good, this is going to take a lot of valuable time and resources from your mental capacity. I highly recommend that if you're even a fashionista, find a couple outfits that you really like, set those aside, buy more of them. If you find a brand or something that you really vibe with, buy all of their stuff. It makes your life a lot easier. It's going to make you more successful. The second thing is food. So food is fuel until you are rich enough to not treat it as fuel anymore. There's 2 things that are going to keep your mental clarity sharp throughout the day: food and sleep. So treat them both sacredly. But food can give you a lot of choice fatigue as well. You wake up in the morning, what breakfast do I eat? At lunch, what lunch do I eat? Dinner, where do I go for dinner? Do I have to cook? Please don't cook. It's a lot of time. Find something healthy that's going to sustain you every single day. I only eat 1 meal per day. That's dinner. In the morning, I go to the gym, then straight into the office, and I don't really need dinner until like 7 or 8 p.m. And then I eat a big dinner. It makes my life a lot easier. I eat a healthy dinner, which I'll typically get from Chipotle or the burrito place across the street. Mexican food's relatively healthy, cheap, fast, and that helps me to stay sharp. Because as soon as you eat breakfast, blood goes to your tummy, not your head, and you start to get tired. I recommend holding off on the food and as late as you possibly can. Get your work done first, then eat, and it's got to be fuel. Highly recommend Chipotle. I know Alex Hormozi is a big fan as well. Tip number 6, optimize your home and your office. The places that you go every day have arguably the biggest impact on your productivity. For example, maybe you live in a really loud building where people are partying all weekend and you can't sleep. Maybe you live in a rundown building and it smells weird. You just don't feel good coming home. Maybe you work from home and you don't have a home office to go sit in and work, so you end up working at your kitchen table, which is not great for productivity either. I recommend getting an office, separating home and work somewhere close where you can go and focus on work, stay there all day, get your shit done, and then come back home. Now, it's really important now that you don't have large commutes either way. For example, I unicycle, which is an electric unicycle. It does 45 miles an hour. It's a ton of fun. To the office takes me about 3 minutes, and 3 minutes home. I love my office. I've got the same setup there. I've got a camera. I've got 3 monitors. It is my work paradise. It's fully optimized for my productivity, and I highly recommend that you build a place to do the exact same thing. Also, invest a lot of money into this. This is going to make you more successful, directly correlated. Invest a lot into your apartment, invest a lot into your bed, invest a lot into your car and transportation, and invest a lot into your office and your productivity equipment. Now, this is especially true if you're a content creator or an aspiring content creator. The only way that I'm able to stay consistent is because this is in my second bedroom at home, and I have an entirely different studio setup at my work office. So no matter where I am, I can always sit down, press a button, and start filming content. All right, tip number 7 is around sleep. And I'm sure you already know that sleep is important, but you probably don't know how important. So back in medical school, I actually did a test. I can either stay up all night and study for the test, then go take the test, knowing that I've studied more, but I slept less. Or I could say, you know what, this is all I'm going to know. I'm going to pass out, call it a day, wake up, and hopefully that increased sleep was a big difference maker on that exam. What turned out? Every single time, the sleep was a difference maker. You can stay up and you can force it, or you can get a good night's rest. Go to bed at a consistent time every single night. I go to sleep around 11 p.m. every night, wake up at 7. I get 8 solid hours. Granted, there's an hour wiggle room in there. Sometimes I get 7 hours, sometimes I get 6. But my sleep is fully optimized. I've got a very expensive mattress, and I've got a mattress topper called 8 Sleep that keeps my body cool throughout the night and then adjusts the temperature of the mattress topper according to what stage of sleep that I'm in. It also tracks my sleep so that I don't have to wear my wearables anymore. Now, if you don't treat your sleep seriously, I highly recommend that you get a wearable. They have the Whoop bands, they have the Aura rings, or you can get an 8-sleep mattress topper like I just mentioned. But knowing what you do during the day and how it affects your sleep, and then changing those variables is going to give you good insights into what you should do day to day to get a good night's rest. But sometimes you just have those nights where you just wake up and it's 2 or 3 a.m. and you're just up there. What are you going to do? Watch TV, read a book? I get straight to work. If my mind is awake and my body's awake and I have a project in mind, I come here into my home studio and I start work uninterrupted. There's no one calling me. There's no meetings. No one's DMing me. No one's posting anything on Instagram. I'm fully undistracted. If you do have a night like that and you can't sleep, the next day is going to be a little harder. So tip 8, I'm going to show you how to get through that. But the important thing is that next night you just make up for it on sleep. Go to bed at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. It's actually pretty easy. All right, tip number 8. I told you it was going to be controversial, so brace yourselves. And this is not medical advice. This is what I do. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can choose to follow my lead or not. Maybe you're already doing this and this is validation that it might be worth it for you. So there are some pharmaceutical tools that can give you an edge over the competition. Now, if you're online watching videos like this, you'll probably hear a bunch of people say that they work 16 hours a day, but let's be real, we're all human. None of us can work 16 hours straight without a little help with a clear mind. It's just not possible, at least not possible for me, and if you're watching this, probably not possible for you either. So what I do to get that 16-hour workday is about halfway through my workday, say I've worked about 6 to 8 hours and I want to get a lot more done, I'll take a little bit of Adderall, and this will get me another 6 to 8 hours of really clear, productive work. And for me, this is a valuable trade that I'm willing to make. And there's one other pharmaceutical tool that I also use. You know those nights where I wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and I'm just wide awake? When about 8 a.m. hits, I know that that workday is going to be tough and I'm just going to be going crazy because I didn't sleep the last night. There's another tool called modafinil that's prescribed for narcoleptics and fighter pilots, and it just kind of keeps you up. It counters that sleep deprivation, and it's something that I use about once per week when I wake up at 2 a.m. and I get straight to work. So these tools can help you get an edge over your competition. It can help you work 16 hours per day consistently. Now, these medications can have a high potential for abuse. A lot of people take way too much of it. I take just the minimal effective dose to get that work done, and I only take it when I'm doing concentrated, productive work on projects. Don't get reliant on this. Do this under the supervision of a doctor and take what I say with a grain of salt. Now, for all of you in the comments saying, you know that's not healthy for you, you know that's going to, what the damage that's going to be, I understand the health risks associated with using some of these stimulants to work 16 hours per day consistently. And that's a trade that I'm willing to make because I value success above all else. And I know my competition is working 16 hours per day. My competition is doing things like this. Dave Portnoy, for example, is a big proponent of his Adderall. He can't work without it. A lot of people take it now. Obviously, I think like 70% of young adults have prescriptions, some crazy statistic. All right, I would love to hear some of your productivity tips. So drop them in the comments and let me know if you have any questions about any of the ones that I mentioned. Now remember, the goal here is to maximize the number of hours that you work, maximize the leverage of your work, so projects that are most important, and maximize clarity of mind while you're working. If you can do all these things, I guarantee you'll be a millionaire in no time.